to Bruges, the most beautiful city in Belgium. If you don't know me that well, or you've only just started to follow me, then you might not know that I'm actually Belgian. So it's safe to say that I know the place very well. And I might be the perfect local guide to show you guys around. In this video, I'll talk you through the best places to visit in Belgium. The most interesting cities to visit are Antwerp, Mechelen, Leuven, Bruges, Ghent and Brussels. But also interesting regions like the coast, the best region to go cycling, the Belgian forests, and the region known for the best beer in the world, and World War I remnants. This video is split up into chapters that you can easily navigate between on the bar below. Welcome to Ghent. Ghent is one of the most popular cities in Belgium for students to go to university, so you will see a lot of young people, also a lot of opportunities of nightlife, and it has a beautiful historical city center. 3 towers will catch your eye. Those are the towers behind me. One is of the Belfry, the other one the St. Nicholas Church, and the third one is St. Bavel's Cathedral. St. Bavel's Cathedral holds a lot of art treasures, like a lot of paintings of Rubens and Van Eyck. The most famous painting is by far the Adoration of the Mystic Lamb. And back in the day, one panel of the whole painting was stolen, and up until today it is still a mystery as to who took it, how they took it, and where it has been all this time, because it was never found, and they also never found who did it. Aside from this masterpiece, there is more to be found in the museums, like the University Museum, which is my fave, and you can visit the gardens for free. You can find modern art at SMOK and classical art at the Museum of Fine Arts. All of these are located along the big Citadel Park. In the historical city center, you can picnic on the Graslei and the Korenlei, just like the local students do, or go on a boat or kayak ride. This is the Castle of the Counts. It is the only castle in Belgium that still has the walls intact as a defense system. Inside you can dive into the history of the knights of the 12th century. You can also admire a unique collection of torture devices. The Groot Vleeshuis is a place specially intended for the promotion of regional products. In the shop you can buy all kinds of regional products such as the sweets Gentse neuzen. If you want to go out, you need to be in the Overpoort Street. This is between the Citadel Park and the St. Peter's Square. The St. Peter's Abbey dates back to the 7th century, and it is nothing short of an abbey village with farms, gardens, homes and estates. The garden with its vineyard and ruin can be visited for free, popular with the city's students to come and chill. This is Mechelen, the least known city out of the 5 art cities of Belgium. It is a very beautiful city and, if anything, really close to Tomorrowland, the world famous electronic festival that is here in Belgium. You can easily take a bus from Mechelen to go to Tomorrowland. Behind me you can see the St. Rombold's Tower, and you can climb this tower from where you have a scenic view. It is an old belfry tower and it is 97 meters high, so you have a pretty good view from above. Going up the tower, you can stop on different levels, which give you an insight into how everything works. Once you've reached the top, you can see all the way to Brussels in the south and Antwerp in the north. Museum Hof van Busleden is the next stop. At the moment it is not possible to visit it. Make sure not to miss out on the beautiful Haverwerf, the food market at the Vleeshalle, and overall lots of squares and markets and beautiful streets and lots of church bells, as you can hear. You can walk along the Dale path or take a boat trip on the Inner Dale. There are also 8 historical churches in the city and you can sample beer at the brewery of Het Anker. There is also the large beginage that you can visit and the winter garden with the beautiful stained glass of the Ursuline nuns. Caserne d'Ossat is a very special place of remembrance. The barracks were a waiting room for 25,000 Jews and Gypsies from Belgium and northern France. So it is a place where the Holocaust is remembered, but also talks about modern racism, etc. The court of Savoy was the residential palace of Margaret of Austria, from where she ruled over the Burgundian Netherlands. This was actually the first Renaissance building in the Low Countries. The next stop is Leuven. I also studied here for a short period of time. Many of the historical buildings in the city are part of the University of Leuven. One of those buildings is the incredible University Library and Tower. You can visit this old library and enjoy the panoramic views of the city. The town hall is Leuven's pride and joy. It is actually one of the best known Gothic town halls worldwide. There are daily guided tours in case you want to know the story behind the 235 sculptures on the facade. The St. Peter's Church next to it has launched a visitor experience, which you can either do with a tablet or the award-winning HoloLens. You can also find lots of restaurants in the Munt Street and on the main square. And a small street connects the main square to the old city square. That square is famous for its cafes and nightlife. You will pass by the best ice cream at Galetje. This square full of cafes is a favorite with many students that study in the city. Leuven is the home of Stella Artois beer. You can visit the brewery on Saturday and take part in the new interactive guided tour. Of course, you can taste the Stella Artois beer after your visit. Stella Artois is part of the world's largest brewery concern, which produces a lot of the best beer in the world. Next up is Antwerp. Antwerp Central Station, also known as the Railroad Cathedral, is one of the world's most beautiful train stations. Admire the huge steel platform roof, the magnificent facade, as well as the central entrance hall. Antwerp has been the largest and most dependable diamond center in the world for more than 5 centuries. You can visit the Diva Museum to learn all about it. The Meer is perhaps the most famous shopping street in the whole country. Along the same promenade you will find the Stadsfeestzaal, which has a very remarkable interior. There are a lot of special places to shop in Antwerp. In fact, fashion is in Antwerp's DNA. This international city of fashion is home to the legendary Antwerp 6 and a prestigious fashion school. To admire the art of Peter Paul Rubens, you can visit the palazzo that he himself designed and walk through the Rubens house to see the world of the famous Baroque painter come to life. And just like the other cities in Belgium, you can visit the Beginage. At Mas, Museum on the Stream, get a 360-degree view of Antwerp and Europe's second biggest port. If you want to cross the River Scheldt, you will not be able to take a bridge. In fact, you will either need to take a boat that takes you from one bank to the other, or go down the pedestrian tunnel that is almost 100 years old. The other side of the water is called Left Bank, and there is even a beach on that side. You can visit the museum Plantijn Moretus and see how the centuries-long history of printing comes to life. You can see the oldest printing presses in the world and centuries-old books. At the foot of the Cathedral of Our Lady, the largest Gothic church in the Low Countries, you will find the statue of Nello and Patrasch. If you don't know them, they are the characters of a beautiful story that is set in Antwerp. Ever since the 9th century, there was a fortified settlement on the banks of this river that is called Het Steen. Today it is home to a new attraction, the Antwerp Story. Following the interactive trail, you travel through the city and time. Before we get into the interesting regions of Belgium, you might be wondering where Bruges and Brussels are in this travel guide. Well, I made a complete separate travel guide for each of these cities, because there is simply too much to them to include them in this video. Together with the travel guide about Brussels, I also included the Christmas markets that you can find in Brussels and Bruges, which are my favorite Christmas markets during the Christmas season. Limburg is the region where you need to go if you are into cycling. They have a lot of cycling routes and also some very innovative pathways It is also the fruit region of Belgium, and especially during springtime, when all of these trees are blooming, it is a very popular spot to go for walks and go cycling or even take a Vespa through these beautiful landscapes. You can also explore the mining history at Sea Mine, or why not spend a weekend in Tongeren. Tongeren was the very first city in Belgium, which dates back to the time of the Romans. Because of this, you can visit the Gallo-Roman Museum and go back in time when ambiotics used to roam these surroundings. It is also home to my favorite antiques market. It is not just rubbish that they're selling there. You can score some really nice antiques there. The next region translates to West Corner. From the city Ypres, you can explore the region with the World War I remnants and the best beer in the world. The city itself is home to the Menin Gate. This is the most famous Commonwealth War memorial in Flanders and perhaps the world. Tens of thousands of soldiers pass through here on their way to the front, many of them never to return. The memorial bears the names of almost 55,000 Commonwealth soldiers who were reported missing during the First World War in this region. It includes people from India, South Africa, Canada, and even Maori from New Zealand. Every evening at 8 p.m., a deeply moving ceremony takes place. The traffic stops and the local fire brigade plays the last post. This has now been going on daily for almost 100 years. In Flanders fields the poppies blow. That's the start of the world-famous poem about the First World War. That is why the poppy is a symbol of the war, and the museum on the main square beneath the Belfry Tower is called In Flanders Fields. The Memorial Museum Passchendaele is another military history museum telling the story of the First World War with a focus on the Battle of Passchendaele. They teach about life and techniques in the war. The Commonwealth War Graves Commission is very prominent in the region. Out of all the cemeteries with the identifiable white headstones, Tyne Cot is by far the best known and most moving. Move on to Dexmuide, which has a beautiful historical main square. It is also where you can visit the IJzer Tower. It holds a museum of no less than 22 floors. You can enjoy the unique view at the top of the tower. West Vleteren has been voted the best beer in the world by beer experts for many, many times. The monks of the St. Sixtus Abbey brew the beer to provide financing for the operations of the abbey. Go there to taste it yourself at the cafe that is located next to the abbey. You can even see the hop grow in the region. There is also a brewery inside the city walls of Ypres, and you can do a gastronomical tour through the region. Aside from the best beer, you can also find wine here. Between the Red and the Black Mountain, you can find the vineyard Entre Deux Monts. The Cordoba chairlift takes you on a journey over the vineyard. On one side you have a view over France, and on the other side over Flanders. There is a nationwide network of cycling and hiking routes that takes you through picturesque towns and beautiful landscapes. In the big cities like Ypres, you can follow the city walk or do one of the car routes to see the most significant places in the region. The Belgian coast is short, but holds a lot of natural beauty, from migrating birds to nature reserves. The entire coast is about 100 kilometers long, with ferry boats for pedestrians and cyclists, and if you're lucky you can spot the seals. In the French-speaking part of the country, I love Dinant. First, we rented a boat and then we climbed the stairs up to the citadel, which looks over the city. Instead of taking the stairs, you can take the cable car. We rode these fun carts on the old rails and kayaked down the Lesse. Top that off with a visit to an artisanal brewery. Belgium is also known for its comic books, like the Smurfs, Tintin, and Jommeke. When in Belgium, you can't leave before trying the beer, the fries, the waffles, and my personal favorites, Belgian stew and shrimp croquettes. In the right season, you can also find lots of asparagus. You must try the speculoos cookies. These are a kind of gingerbread cookies that are traditionally Belgian. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. A lot of time and effort has gone into this video because of the many different cities and regions. So I would appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up or if you left a comment, because that really helps me out. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my next videos. I am soon going to the north of France with my girlfriends, and then we are going to Greece again with the family, and I will be spending some time in Spain with my best friend. And of course there will be many more adventures outside of Europe following that as well. So do subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!